Hello, and welcome to Crushed Celluloid. Hey, remember Purple Rain? Remember how cool Prince was in that movie? Do you remember how awesome that soundtrack was? Man, Purple Rain was a kick-ass movie, wasn't it? Today, we watch a film that asks all of these questions, but answers them with the baffling, meh. This is the stupefying sequel to Purple Rain, known as Graffiti Bridge, which means it's time for Crushed Celluloid. My little hobo corner.
Yeah. Okay, so today we were talking about 1990s Graffiti Bridge, the technically a sequel to Purple Rain that technically can't have anything to do with Purple Rain, as far as I understand.
Is it just because of the rights?
Yeah, because I mean, that's the whole reason Prince had to change his name and everything for so long. But, well, no, because this is before he even changes his name.
Yeah, this is like before he even changed to like the artist and the symbol and shit like that. But you can see that's about to happen because he has that symbol everywhere.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess for people that don't know, Prince, to get out of his contract with whichever record company he was with, just decided to change his name to an unspeakable symbol so that he's technically someone else now, and he doesn't have to honor that contract anymore.
Yeah, and then he also did the artist for a while as the artist formerly known as Prince, but that was just too much of a mouthful, I guess.
Yeah, that was... So Prince has done some weird things, so I guess this movie is fucking... this is the beginning of, like, the 90s era Prince is some really bad music. And this movie has some really bad Prince music in it.
It does. See, that was the thing that was most funny to me is that, in Purple Rain, like, Purple Rain is an amazing album. The movie, It's not great, but it's entertaining and the music is good enough to keep you into it. But this time around, I was way more on the side of Morris Day and the Time. I like their music way better.
Man. Everyone else that does music, except for the gospel people, are all just killing it. And Prince just comes on and... It's funny because it's like, I guess, anyway, let's not get too deep into it because oh man, I have so much to say about the music in this movie. But one thing I noted, one thing I got through, halfway through this movie, the best comparison I have is that Purple Rain is like a normal movie, like this kind of normal 80s kind of funny, kind of dramatic movie with an alien thrown into it, which is Prince.
Oh, yes.
Whereas Graffiti Bridge is like a movie made by an alien. None of it makes any sense. It makes some sense, but it's this world that doesn't exist, and I don't know why people are acting the way they are.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and you were correct. It was like, oh, we put an alien in a movie with Purple Rain, and everyone's like, man, we really like that alien. And they're like, oh shit, everyone likes this alien. Let's give them some money and let the alien make a movie.
Well, no, that was Under the Cherry Moon. That's where they were like, well, Purple Rain was such a big hit. You can't find much information, but I think this is after Prince got into his whole Paisley Park thing and kind of enclosed himself with himself.
Absolutely, because this wasn't even filmed on a regular Hollywood soundstage. This was at Paisley Park Studios that he filmed all of this.
Oh yeah, these are the most insanely big fake-looking sets ever. These sets look insanely like sets, and there's only one point in the movie where they are not on a set, and it's during this music video montage, and it's so strange where you go out into the real world for a second, and you're like, oh my god, it doesn't look entirely fake. It's
weird. It's kind of off-putting, but also it's weird because this is, of course, all on a stage, which is okay because in this, it's all right. But it's so tiny. It's like this little tiny half strip of a street where all these clubs are. Yet, even though the space is so tiny, I have no idea how the spatial relations work in this set. Everything, I have no idea where anything is or who anyone is. It is fucking baffling.
It is, and it takes place in a world where everyone's lives revolve around clubs and going to clubs and music playing at these clubs, and it's always nighttime. I don't think there's one daytime scene in this movie.
I think, except for that one, montage where they're on a bridge outside in the real world all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. There was that one. This movie it's baffling. It's absolutely baffling, but it's it's so much Prince. And if you don't know about Prince, I guess he was always religious, but he got insanely religious somewhere around the 90s, and I think this movie is kind of the beginning of it. Like, this movie is half sermonizing.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing is that, yeah, and that's always been a thing about Prince. He was like half very sexual and half kind of religious. But like in Purple Rain, it's much more kind of like, you know, having fun and being sexual and stuff. And in this one, it's much more about Jesus and God. But when he does try to do a sexual thing, like there's that one musical number, that song Bang or whatever, it's just fucking uncomfortable.
It's all so weird. Like, it's just, the tonal shifts within this movie are just, I don't get it. And and at least Morris Day was there to be funny.
Morris Day and Jerome make this movie completely worth it, and I think put it into the category of like kind of good bad movie. Like, I enjoyed the fuck out of watching Morris Day and Jerome in this movie.
It's almost there if the parts with Prince weren't so boring and the music wasn't so horrible. Like, this movie is so much fun for like the first half hour to 40 minutes, and then it starts draining me after that. I'm just like, I can't stay with you this whole time, Prince. And it's only an hour and a half. It's not even long.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It does go by relatively quickly, although it seems like it should end about 20 minutes before it does. And that last bit is just really, really rough. That's the hardest part to get through. But it's enjoyable enough, and I think even the parts that are really bad with Prince are laughably bad, to where I was still okay with it. I was laughing so fucking hard at everything Prince was doing in this movie.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's on that edge of good bad where it kind of tips over, but at the same time,
I'm not gonna watch it again for a long time.
No, you're not gonna. Yeah, I have no intention of watching it again, even with somebody else. Like, it's not. I don't want to sit through these songs ever again. Like, if you're prepared to fast forward, I think this movie is good bad.
Yeah, exactly. If you fast forward, you know, you got like maybe 15-20 minutes of movie, you're good. You still got the rest of your day.
Yep. So, I guess let's jump into Graffiti Bridge, written and directed by Prince.
Yeah, okay, so before we get into the actual movie, I will say, for one, this did not go over well. I think it made like $4.5 million, and it was nominated for multiple Razzies. And of course, it's not remembered very well or rated very well on any site. But I will say, I was watching your old VHS copy of this to prepare, and before the movie starts, it was apparently put out by Warner Brothers, and there's a little cartoon of Bugs and Daffy, and it's just them saying that you cannot watch this movie without a WB ball cap. And then it tells you to like call this 1-900 number and order your WB merch. And it was just funny because it just seems so weird and off from everything else in this movie, but at the same time it's also like, oh, you get charged $1.50 just for making the call, and then you have to place your order, and it's like, kids, get mom and dad's permission. We know we use these cartoon characters to drag you in here and make you call this number, but ask permission. Do that, definitely.
Because children are really the main demographic for Prince's Graffiti Bridge.
I have no idea why it's there exactly.
Because kids, if they love anything, they love Prince. Oh, man. Wild. And so, I can't, like... So, this movie plays off of Purple Rain a lot, which is essentially about Prince and Morris Day and the Time battling each other for top spot in a club.
Yeah, it's basically, he plays the kid who's like this up-and-coming musician who's trying to prove something, and Morris Day is kind of like the hot shit around, and yeah, Prince has to prove himself, and they battle at the end.
Yeah, and so we're introduced to this movie with this really strange and cerebral kind of like montage that vaguely explains that Morris Day kind of owns all the club in like this 7 club strip.
Well, it's called the 7 Corners, but there's actually only 4 clubs.
4 clubs, okay.
On the 7, there's 4 corners and 4 clubs on the place called 7 Corners.
Okay, that makes more sense, because I was like, where are these other 3 clubs? And so Morris Day, I guess, kind of owns all of them, and
he owns all of them except for Prince's Club Grand Slam, which he only owns half of.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And so this movie is going to be about a battle between clubs.
Pretty much,
And
and it's pretty much, if you have not seen Purple Rain, you will not understand anything in this movie. And even
Well, you're not
seeing
gonna
Purple
understand.
Rain, I still didn't really understand anything in this movie.
I was gonna say, unless you have just watched Purple Rain right before, you will understand maybe a bit more of this. Like, not having seen Purple Rain in a long time, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about half the time. I don't know why there's that girl that keeps disappearing. I don't understand.
She's an angel.
Was she in Purple Rain? Did she
No,
die?
no.
Is that...
Well,
Oh.
no, I don't think so. I mean, because he did have a love interest in the original Purple Rain, but I think,
Yeah.
like, the girl that keeps disappearing, that's just the same one throughout the movie, Aura.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I watched a pretty deprecated version because I bought it on VHS, so I'm not paying for it again. So I watched it for free online, and I could not make out too much what was happening. I couldn't see how cheap the club set looks,
But yeah,
I remember very distinctly how
and
cheap it looks.
this is playing off Purple Rain so much. Even like the opening shot is like Prince in his room, and the first thing you see is like a cage with doves in it. Get it? The
they're
doves,
gonna cry.
like in Purple Rain, are they gonna cry? I don't know.
I don't know. That might be their character arc, because Lord knows no one else has one. And it pretty much plays off the beginning. It's like there's an evil Morris Day, and then there's Prince, who's hard at work making music right after he has sex with this girl. He has no time
That's the
to
thing
cuddle.
too, is that he tries to be so like, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm above this like booty grinding, shaking music and everyone drinking and stuff. Yet, you know, he had just fucked this girl. He still does music like that, and there's still scenes in this movie that he directed that are just like objectifying women on every level. And he's like, no, I'm all about the spiritual.
And I love that some of the first lines spoken in this movie are some of the worst delivered lines ever, on Prince's side mostly. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, pretty much everything Prince delivers in this movie is bad, but yeah, it's especially bad at the beginning.
So I wanna do a little mini play. So you say Morris offered me a job at the Pandemonium, and I'm gonna play Prince.
Okay. Morris offered me a job at the Pandemonium.
No way. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I gave it too much inflection. You had to do it
You
again.
had far too much emotion in there.
All right, go.
So, Morris offered me a job at the Pandemonium.
No way. I'm your baby, and you've got to take care of me. That's Prince.
And scene.
It's and scene.
It was
Prince
sad
just-
because I actually did remember the lines and I almost tossed in extra. I was like, kid, I don't make enough money at your club.
Kid, I don't make enough money at your club. Oh, man.
Man, musicians, you guys are all the same.
And then it goes from this to I can't remember what they call it, but like how Romeo and Juliet has a prologue that kind of goes over the plot of the film in rhyme. That happens in this movie as if it's like a Shakespearean opening to explain to you what's gonna happen. It's really strange and really, really somber. Like, this movie is ridiculously somber, except for Morris Day.
Yeah, yet it's slapsticky at times, and it's so weird. And honestly, obviously Prince directed this movie, and I think the only direction he gave himself is like, alright, I'm Prince, so I'm gonna stand here quietly and smirk no matter what happens. That is what I do. If someone is gonna talk to me, someone's gonna sing towards me, I'm gonna stand there and smirk.
That's
all he does.
It's so weird, and it's when the girl's leaving, one of her lines is, you know what your problem is? You got too many problems. That's what your problem is. I like
Smirk.
that. Smirk. I got problems. I'm Prince.
I got daddy issues. My daddy shot himself.
And I love that it starts off with Morris Day essentially looking like either a Bond villain or a Claw from Inspector Gadget. Like, it only shows his hands kind of tapping on the table as these people discuss money.
And I love how when someone challenges him, the way they solve it, he's like, alright, I'm gonna eat a hot pepper, and then you have to eat a hot pepper. And this is the thing with the tone, because the other guy eats a hot pepper, and then immediately you see smoke coming up from behind his head. Like a fucking cartoon.
I didn't even notice that. I was just like, and they're like banana peppers. It's not even like anything horrible.
And I think they were pickled too, so that should calm it down a bit.
Really, like pickled banana peppers. I think you should be able to handle that. And then we get into probably the only Prince song I like is his opening song. It's kind of fun. It doesn't have that weird 90s, like the early 90s when like R&B kind of hip hop stuff was really in, like the Ninja Turtles 2 soundtrack, which I used to listen to because I had a cassette and I played it in my car all the time, and it's horrible. It's like that really. It's kind of what's happening now in pop music, except a lot cheesier, where it's just very like keyboard heavy, like I don't know, like it's the end of the 80s coming into the 90s, except they try and add this hip hop element into it, and it just comes off as extremely fake.
Well, that's the first thing. Even though the first song does have a bit of that whole like Jesus-y element to it, that's the song that sounds the most like a Prince song. That sounds the most like it carried over from Purple Rain.
Yeah, because Purple Rain was an awesome album because it was so it kind of, the music is very strange and it kind of morphs like during the songs. It makes it very dynamic and very compelling. And besides this first song, all these songs are just so rote and so uninteresting,
and
except for everybody else's songs.
Yeah, and not only that, at some point we have to get into Prince's fashion in this movie.
It's very fey, I guess would be a good way to put it. Everything is draping off him, and he looks like a child half the time, like a very sexualized child.
And he'll have makeup, he'll have weird kind of very tight spandexy things. He kind of always looks like he fell out of Alice in Wonderland or something.
And he has an extremely manicured 5 o'clock shadow that I suspect is not real. Like, I don't think his facial hair is real.
It can't be.
It's so strange. I've never seen facial hair like that.
Well, and just his hair. And I think that's just 90s Prince, because in 80s, like, he was very more traditional, just kind of, like, sexy kind of guy. But then, I'm going to grow out my hair and have, like, this huge, puffy kind of 80s hair metal almost thing, but a little bit more luxurious. And then, just, like, I guess facial hair to try to look more tough, but it just, I don't know, it just looks like someone took a Sharpie to his face.
Yeah, it looks like... You know how they used to do blackface by burning a cork and kind of rubbing on their face? It almost looks like he's done that.
Yeah, or like a very well manicured, like, black chia beard that, like, he grew on his face with seeds.
You know what it looks like? It looks like that Woolly Wally. Those little things you could play with the little metallic things. So you draw someone's facial hair on. It kind of looks like one of those.
I think most of the budget went into Prince's facial hair.
I think that's where most of, what was it, 12 million, I think it was reported.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I think I saw that somewhere. I may be wrong. Anyway, so we get to Morris showing up to Prince's club during a song where he has the great scene where him and Jerome get out, but there's a puddle which he can't walk in. So Jerome goes up to a girl and steals her coat to throw in the puddle so Morris can walk over this small puddle.
Which is good. And I love their dynamic and their relationship so much. It is the best part of this movie. But the thing is, like, the whole conflict of this movie is that, okay, Morris Day and the kid both own half of this club, the Grand Slam. Apparently the kid owes Morris Day money and the club isn't making money. So there's conflict there. But every time we cut to the club, except a little bit later on, like this opening scene, the club looks pretty pumping. It looks like the club's doing pretty well for itself.
You know, they got a high overhead. They have to pay for a lot of dancers. Half of them are in the crowd.
Yeah, so. I guess. And not only that, I guess, like, no one's drinking there because Prince is trying to be spiritual, so maybe he's not making any money off the club that way. Yeah,
that makes sense. And he's the only one that ever plays there, so...
But that's the thing, is that other than, except if he owes him money or something, like, they own the club 50-50, so it seems like, why would he need to give him money? Don't they just both share the profits? I mean, I understand, wouldn't he want the club to do well instead of getting everyone out of his club?
Who knows? I guess it's just like a hostile takeover type situation.
Yeah, and the main difference is just Prince wants to do spiritual music, and the Time does party music. That's the main conflict.
Yeah, that is the crux of this movie. That is what it all centers around. I do love when Morris Day first walks into the club. Like, Prince and his band kind of had this, like, they play like this dun 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 kind of music, and and then Prince says the king has arrived, and then there was riotous laughter in the crowd. Like, was that a joke? Why are you laughing?
Well, see, that's the Purple Rain thing. People, it's just like, yeah, get it? You know, we have this rivalry. Isn't it funny that I'd said something to him? Smirk.
I like I said, it's like a movie made by an alien. I don't think Prince has a sense of humor, or his sense of humor is so off kilter to what anyone else thinks is funny. It just comes off as strange and alien.
Do you think Prince and Tommy Wiseau are actually the same person in secret?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put it past him. Tommy Wiseau is Prince's protege. It's like I'm gonna groom this director.
I would love to see a buddy comedy between those two.
Oh, it'd be amazing. And this is also where we get to the part where Morris Day is like, "What's with all this spiritual noise? This music will never change anybody." And so it like right off the bat, this movie comes across like a Christian film, which are just so hokey and so forced with these messages. And
it is, but there's so much like blatant like sexuality and like misogyny in it. It's just kind of weird.
And cursing, a lot more cursing than I thought there would be for something so spiritually focused. Like they say shit a couple times. Damn, like, it's strange.
Yeah, it didn't go full R like Purple Rain,
no,
but it did get that PG-13.
Yeah, they went hard. And then there's this weird scene once again where I don't understand where the joke is, where Morse Day for some reason says release it, and Prince is like, "What? I can't hear you." And he holds the microphone out as if he's near him in any way, but he's not. And he says release it, and he looks at the guitarist or the keyboardist, I can't remember which one. He's like, "Did you get that?" Like they have this knowing look, and the guitarist like, "Yeah," and he presses a button, it says release it in Morris Day's time. So he recorded him, and everyone starts breaking out into laughter.
Well, not only that, but then Morris Day gets him back by getting his guitarist to record their recording of him, and then they make it funkier, and they're like, "Ha ha!" And then everybody laughs at Prince. I don't know what's going on.
Like, what is happening here? What are you people doing?
Yeah, but then we get into a Morris Day in the Time musical number, which is fucking fantastic and blows Prince out of the water.
Yeah, and they're just, and they blow him out of the water, and it's like, oh shit, Morris Day's doing this funky music, and and it makes Prince look laughable, because he kind of is, and then Morris Day, they play the ABCs on their keyboard, he's like, hey, and he gets up to pee, where he pees on one of Prince's plants.
Well, that's the thing. He's like, your plant looks thirsty. And I was like, I thought that was supposed to be some kind of metaphor for Prince being like on his way out or not being able to take care of his shit. But then he's like, no, I'm just going to pee on your plant.
Yeah, not only that, he then sets it on fire as if his urine is flammable, because plants aren't generally flammable.
Well, do you think... Well, I thought maybe it meant that like his pee was flammable. Like, do you think that's maybe supposed to say that Morris Day is like the devil?
Like, it's like his pee is gasoline. I couldn't figure that out if they were trying to imply that he has plastic plants, because plastic plants will catch fire pretty fast. That makes sense.
But I will say, during the scene while he is peeing, I love Jerome's reaction. He's kind of like looking at him peeing and then looking away like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. You're so crazy, Morris. And then he keeps looking at his dick. Because there's a lot of sexual tension between Morris Day and Jerome that is played up for laughs later.
Oh, it's bad. We'll get to that. Okay, so then we go to Morris Day's billiard room / office, maybe?
I think is it just in his club? Because it doesn't look like that later when they're in the club. I don't know.
No, maybe that's just what the club looks like. I don't know. But there's this woman, and I get it's kind of the girl that's with Morris Day the whole time that kind of wants to sing, but he doesn't let her, but she's asking for money, and this is some of the great back and forth between him and Jerome. He's like, Jerome, because the woman can hear him saying all of this. He's like, Jerome, please tell this woman that her account is overdrawn on my bank. And Jerome's like, woman, quit asking for so much money.
Awesome. Yeah, and they're all standing like 2 feet away from each other.
Yeah, no, she can completely hear everything you say. And then like they're talking or something, and he Morris Day taps his butt at her, and he's like, take a week off and kiss it all. He is a sassy black woman.
He is.
I love it, because my favorite thing about Purple Rain, like, I don't remember a whole lot about that movie besides the weird scenes with Prince, like where he's like, have you ever bathed yourself in Lake Winnetonka? But the thing I remember most about that movie is this woman comes up to Morris Day it like just starts saying stuff to him, and he's like, I don't want to hear this noise. He's like, Jerome, throw this bitch in the trash. And Jerome literally picks up the girl and goes and throws her in the dumpster.
I really wish there was a callback to that in this movie. I wish he had done that to someone.
Oh, I know. That is by far the best part of Prince of Purple Rain. It is the craziest scene.
Like, I kind of wish it had been like the little kid, Tevin Campbell. I kind of wish like he had made Jerome throw him in the trash.
Oh, would have been awesome.
Can we go to the cheap bridge set, which is amazing, and it looks like I don't know, it's weird. There's this fog everywhere, and it's obviously a very cheap set, but it just looks kind of like a fairy realm or something. It all looks so fake, and it's just the fakest bridge ever. Like everything else, these sound stages they built, and yeah, it's the place where. Well, we find out her name is Aura hangs out that both Morris and Prince want, essentially. Yeah, she's the one that they're fighting over / an angel / the catalyst for them to be friends again? I don't know.
Yeah, and there's also... So, she shows up at Prince's club, and I just want to bring this up because there's this one really weird scene, but this one guy who... starts off the movie, he's like, man, I want to rap, Prince. Why don't you give me my chance? And she walks in, she's like, what's your name? He says, Yada. And she's like, what's your story? He's like, I'm a rapper. I'm waiting on a big break. Like, who talks like that? But I don't get it. I don't get it. But I want to circle back around to this guy, the rap guy.
Oh, yeah, no, we definitely will.
He shows up, he just randomly shows up throughout the movie, be like, I want to rap, give me my chance to rap. Like, it happens 3 or 4 times throughout the film. And we will get to his story at the end.
Absolutely. So as far as this girl Aura goes, do we want to talk about this at all? Because there's some IMDb trivia about like how this girl got cast, because this is apparently this lady's first movie, and I don't know, she does okay, but apparently IMDb said that he originally offered it to Madonna, who turned it down, saying it was a piece of shit.
Yeah, the script was a piece of shit, which I imagine it was.
Yeah, it is. And secondly, I read that he offered it to Kim Basinger, who he was apparently dating at the time.
Yeah, weird.
Do you think that's because of Batman? Like they met because Prince was doing the Batman soundtrack?
You know, I almost wonder if Prince bought all of like the extra sets from Batman or something, because this movie looks a lot like Batman. Or Tim Burton's like original Batman, like even like the way the cameras are kind of placed at certain times, like they're kind of askew and everything's neon in the background to a certain degree.
And I could totally see just the street scene itself kind of being like pieces that were left over from Gotham City.
Yeah, exactly. It's so. Yeah, maybe he did meet Kim Basinger. Maybe he's like, I'm doing the soundtrack. I demand to be on set every day for this film.
I demand you give me that white woman.
Have you bathed yourself in Lake Winnetonka?
Remember that? Remember when I said that? That was good.
Remember, yeah. Maybe you've seen my film, Purple Rain. That's how you get Kim Basinger.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also, I think we passed over, George Clinton has a club, which only it doesn't really matter. It doesn't play in, but George Clinton's
does he
here.
have his own club, or is he in the Melody Cool Club? I couldn't tell.
No, he's because...
Oh yeah, later on he does have his own club because he has to. They're trying to make him sign it away. But what club is his?
I don't know. I don't think they ever name it.
Oh,
unless
no. Maybe his was like the Palindrome or whatever. That one?
Pandemonium.
No, Pandemonium must be his, because I think Morris Days is just the time, isn't it?
No, Morris Days is Pandemonium.
Well, then there's also a sign outside that's neon or whatever that just says the time, and I thought that was their club.
I don't think so.
I don't fucking understand. But anyway, we get a George Clinton performance, and finally a real musician.
But you only get him for like a minute.
Well, yeah, and it's weird because he kind of like, he's pretty top billed, and I guess he's a character in the movie, but I don't think he has a single line in it. I don't even think he really sings much in his musical performance.
No, it's like this movie is so strange. I don't know why he's there except for namesake, I guess.
Yeah, but he kind of has this one very brief musical performance, and then he's just kind of in the background a couple of times, and that's it. I don't think he gets a line. Yeah,
and then so moving on from. So then there's a scene where Prince writes a letter to his dead dad that isn't like this weird scene where he's like, man, dad, like, mom's still in the mental institution. Damn, dad, why'd you have to leave us? And it's all strange because why is he writing a letter to his father? Didn't he hate his father in Purple Rain?
Well,
like,
that's the thing. He hated his father, but he wanted his respect. He wanted his father to be proud, even though he hated him. Like, that's part of the reason why he hated him, because he didn't give him the respect he deserved, and he had to prove it.
But wasn't he, if I'm remembering right, wasn't he also telling his mom the whole time during Purple Rain, like, why don't you leave Dad? He's so horrible to us.
Well, yeah, but it's that kind of thing, like, even if you hate your dad, you still want his respect, and you want to make him proud. But then he's like, man, I know people weren't digging the music you were making, but why'd you have to end it? Sometimes I think I'm cursed like you were.
Yeah. Then we get a little boy singing gospel, because why the fuck not?
That's Tevin Campbell, and if I remember correctly, I think a few years later, I think he did a lot of the music or songs for a Goofy movie.
Huh.
I could be wrong, but I think that was him that did, like, the Powerline songs from a Goofy movie.
I'd believe it. Sounds.
So Tevin
reasonable.
Campbell on the way up, Prince on the way down.
Oh, poor Prince, with his ungodly amounts of money.
Yeah, but by the way, I have to say I am a huge Prince fan, and the new album that he put out this year, Artificial Age, is actually really fucking good.
Yeah, I listened to it once, and yeah, I did dig. I can't remember if it was that one, or I also listened to the one he did with that girl. And both of them were pretty solid.
Yeah,
but I never
they
revisited them. But they were good when I listened to them that one time. And so this little boy sings gospel in the street. People, and by the way, this movie is just a vignette of musical numbers with a vague narrative kind of linking them. And this is just one of the vignettes that makes no sense in the rest of the context of the movie except to introduce this club, which doesn't even really need to be in the script.
Well, see, that's the thing, is that, the little boy is apparently Melody Cool's kid or something, and that's another club, but I don't think we ever actually go inside of her club. They just sing outside of it, because I guess they couldn't build another set.
Well, we also don't really get introduced to Melody Cool until, like, the very end of the movie, so you have no idea what this little kid's doing outside.
Well, I didn't even realize that was her club, or that was Melody Cool until the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so they don't introduce this club. They don't explain why this kid's singing gospel in the street, and then they throw money at him, and the boy starts picking up the money, and his mom, Melody Cool, apparently from upstairs, is just like, Kevin, put that money down. And he's like, but Mom, there are a couple of 20s down here. And she's like, ooh, pick it all up. Like,
I was like, but doesn't she own a club? Wouldn't she be making money?
Yeah, like, for what? Yeah, why does the amount of money really matter in the first place? Is this out of dignity? Like, and she's in the business of making money for her music. Like, what is all of this? What is happening?
So yeah, and we also we run back into the girl that Prince was sleeping with at the beginning of the movie, as she is going to Morris Day's club where she now has a job, and Prince, being suave as he is like, hey Jill, what you going? When you gonna call me? And she her response is to take off her panties, leave them on the street, and like make a weird face and walk away. Yeah,
where Prince's man is like, ooh.
Yeah, I was just like, gross. I guess those panties were dirty. She just left them there.
You can have my dirty panties. And then we get to probably one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh my god, I love this scene so much with Jerome under the table.
No, I was actually going to go to the first part where we go to the bridge.
Oh, okay, go.
Where Morris Day is trying to get Aura. And this is where you notice how fake this set looks. Like, not since All That Heaven Allows have I seen so many like fake looking sets. It's so ridiculous.
Like, these are low par for like a music video.
Yeah,
which is pretty much what this movie is.
This is an extended music video, and Morris is just like, Jerome, go talk to her. I'm just gonna pose by the Porsche. Which Morris Day proceeds to pose by the Porsche in the most awkward ways possible. As Jerome talks to the girl, and she's like, what's he doing over there? Why is he grabbing himself?
It's like, he's posing, baby. And then,
he's posing by the Porsche for you.
Yeah. And then she like calls him over, and as soon as she does, he's like, oh shit, I gotta move. But then he like frolics over to where she and he has to try to walk up this smooth bridge, and he can't do it because of his shoes, so Jerome has to like push him up.
Oh, it's awesome. And so Aura, who is like the angel of the movie, she's like, yeah, I'll go out with you. And then they explain in the cab via voiceover, because we have insight into her thoughts, while we don't have insight into anyone else's thoughts throughout the movie.
Well, we kind of do. There is so much of this movie, so many of these lines are just 80-yard lines, and half the time I can't tell if they're inside someone's head or if they're supposed to be spoken and they just forgot to film the person like mouthing it. Because there's even a scene in the club later where it's Morris Day, Jerome, and Aura, and they're kind of doing a musical number, and like Morris Day and Jerome are actually mouthing their lines, and she is not. So I don't know if like her lines are in her head and they're singing out loud, or what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, well, no, I think that's the thing, because what we find out when she's in the car later is that she's trying to save Morris, like bring him to God through sex.
Which is so weird, because that seems to be her only weapon. She's like, I'll do whatever I have to. Really? Is that what you want me to do, God? You want me, you want me to throw that pussy at Morris? I'll do it.
And yeah, so he takes her to the club, and
well, basically he's trying to get her drunk so he can sleep with her.
And Jerome's under the table the whole time, like helping Morris's plan.
Yeah, but he's like looking under her skirt and like keeps refilling her wine glass and like pouring some of Morris's into hers. It's so fucking funny.
Oh man, it's insane. And so this other girl gets a chance to sing a song, and so she starts singing the song. And after the first verse that she sings, she doesn't sing anymore. But Aura and Morris Day and then Jerome jumps in later, start singing the song, which begs the question, can the audience hear any of this, or did this girl just sing a verse of a song and now they are just dancing around on stage for the other 2 minutes that are still left?
Yeah, I don't know. This movie's like a weird fucking acid trip, because I can't tell what's reality and what isn't.
No, you can't. None of it. I don't know. And then they pretty much, Jerome and Morris Day start singing a song about having a threesome with Aura to her, which she responds positively to, but she's also singing in her head about saving Morris still.
But she also is drunk.
Yeah.
But during this, Prince's crew, they call him over to like check out this new girl that's there, and it's weird how interested his crew is in Prince getting his dick wet, but they're like all about her, like, oh, we met your future wife, you need to come see. Oh, she's too fine. No, she's 3 fine.
Forgot, she's 3 fine. And yeah, so Prince follows them there. And is she drunk, or did Morris slip her like a love drug?
I don't know. And did he slip her love potion number 9? I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I think for a primer for this film, you need to go through Purple Rain, you need to go through love potion number 9, and I don't know, you may need to watch God's Not Dead. I'm not sure. That may prepare you for this movie. And so there's this really... Okay, so Prince follows them out of the club. There's a music video. There pretty much is a music video intermission of their car chase, which I can only imagine, because if you remember, if you remember when the doves cry, that music video was just lifted out of Purple Rain, the movie, and just played as a music video. And
Which they tried to do throughout this whole movie. Pretty much every song is meant to be like, oh, we could just plug this in as a music video without having to waste money on filming a music video.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing we kind of skipped over before he starts chasing them in the car is that when they're taking her out of the club, she's obviously drunk at this point or something, because she's hazy and can't see that well and keeps like hiccuping and shit. But Morris Day and Jerome are kind of taking her into the car, and they're totally gonna double team her, because they even say, like, as we see her hazy vision, they're like, it's all about that pimp sandwich tonight.
I'm sorry, I had to do Morris Day's laugh real quick.
That was so good. That was dead on.
Right? I think I've been practicing.
But it's weird because this has also confused me, because basically we see Prince start chasing them in their car on his motorcycle, but then it seems like he gave up and he went back, and then we see like a musical performance that looks very much like Michael Jackson's The Way You Make Me Feel video. Like, even with the way he has the ponytail and the way he's dressed and humping the ground and shit, that is exactly out of that video.
Did Michael Jackson also have those weird half chaps that he's wearing with the cod piece kind of firmly in place?
A little bit. But no, it just looked like, because I'm not sure which one came first, because they're both around the same time, but I think one kind of influenced the other in some sort of way.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it does this, it's like a music video, but then it cuts back and it's like, oh no, he's actually still been chasing them the whole time. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? What is real? I thought he gave up and was doing a musical performance, but no, that's just a music video interjected while reality is still happening on the side.
Yeah. Extremely strange. And then they get back to... So, Morris brings the girl back to his place, lays her on the couch, and Jerome's just like... I'm just gonna paraphrase. I'm just paraphrasing here, but Jerome's essentially like, hey, when are we gonna rape her? And Morris Day's like, no, because when she wakes up, she's gonna fall in love with the first person she sees. To which Aura responds, when I wake up, I'll fall in love with the first person I see.
Hiccup.
Hiccup. Then Prince blows out the candle. Jerome interjects once again, hey, I still want to rape her. Let me cop a feel.
Yeah, it's like, let me at least cop a feel.
Yeah, and then he's like, ooh, her chest is hairy. And then they turn on the lamps where they notice it's Morris Day and Jerome. Not, like, their clothes aren't scuffed up in any way, so there's no possible way he felt under Morris's shirt.
They're sitting on opposite sides of the couch, but it's just this really awkward one. It's like, oh, they had a gay moment. Now they're terrified and sick, and it ends with them, like, staring awkwardly, trying not to laugh, it seemed. Like, because it just, the camera sat on them for way too long, and then finally Morris Day pretends to puke to the side.
And I feel so bad for gay people during the 90s, because, like, between this and Ace Ventura...
Yeah, I mean, ain't like homophobia funny?
Yeah, I mean, because it's disgusting if guys do anything even sexually with each other. Like, it's vomit-inducing is how bad it is. Like, I'm glad that's kind of gone away, but man, gay people must have had it bad in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, at least it was starting to become a little bit more acceptable, but yeah, it's still, like... Gay is a punchline in the 90s, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, because gayness was essentially kind of just shunned and completely culturally ignored.
Unless it was a stereotype.
Yeah, until around the 90s. Like, it just, you didn't really speak about it, it doesn't seem. And then once you get to the 90s, like the 80s, they start talking about it more. You get to the 90s where they're going to reference it, but only in the manner that it is something completely other and repulsive.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not used unless it's used as a joke, or you have, like, the gay character that is just such an offensive stereotype.
Yeah, it makes me sad. This movie really bummed me out. Like, this was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, man, you people need to lay off gay people. What is wrong with you, 90s?
Yeah, that's true. But again, we've talked about that quite a bit, I think, in 90s movies, because it's there all over the fucking place.
No, that's what I'm saying. I never realized how much it was there, like, until we started doing this. And all, like, because like I said, the first time I noticed it was Ace Ventura, when I went back and watched that, and, like, there's that scene where Jim Carrey realizes that
his
Sean boss
Young is a man.
Maybe a man, and he does the slapstick thing where he's like plunging his mouth as if having a shit-covered plunger.
Oh yeah, and he's like in the shower like he got raped, like he'll never be clean.
Yeah, it's just like, man, this is over the top offensive.
Yeah, it definitely is. But something to get off that topic that I just noticed thinking about this, the dynamics of it. Mm-hmm. So to get Aura to Morris Day's house, they have that big chase scene where he is driving his car and Prince follows him on a motorcycle. But then they get to Morris Day's house, which I think is exactly right next to his club. And then, because then Prince takes her, and then it cuts to outside, and he's just like walking across the street with her. So where the fuck did they go? They left the club, and I guess drove around in a big circle, and then came to his house, and then Prince just picks her up and walks her across the street to his club.
It is also notable that this is the one time I was talking about where they leave the soundstage, and you can see they are noticeably on the outside world, like with streets and multiple cars.
But then they just come right back to it. Like, why did they have that chase scene? They just went to exactly the same place they were already at.
I guess just to imply that some driving does have to be done to give this film a feeling of, I don't know, like it doesn't just take place on two separate sound stages.
But it does, because it's not like even his place is far away. His place is right next to his club, and then Prince literally just walks her across the street. It's not like he takes her on his motorcycle and drives her back to his place. He just walks her across the street to his club.
Yeah, it is. This movie.
But also, and something that bothers me too, is that Prince is supposed to be the good guy, Morris Day is supposed to be the bad guy. Mm-hmm. Prince is just as rapey towards her as Morris was once he gets her to his house. He might not actually do it, but he wants to and almost does. He almost cops a feel on her too.
Yeah, no, he does some weird thing where he kind of like caresses her and then puts his fingers in his mouth like a child.
Yeah, and like he kisses her on the cheek when he puts her in the bed, and then like he wakes up and he's like sleeping at the foot of her bed, and kind of he wakes her up by basically just getting on top of her and kind of rubbing his dick on her. And then she's like, "Oh, it's you."
But she falls in love with him because she's under a love drug or hypnosis or something. I don't know.
I mean, good thing she's just an object.
Yeah, of course. And Prince does the one thing that's sure to get any girl just hot and bothered. He plays hangman with her.
Which is good because he doesn't say a word during the scene, which makes it all the more creepy. But he basically has like this little heart pad, and he draws out like a 4-letter word and plays hangman with her, and then eventually she loses and he writes out mine and then points at her and then back at himself like, "You're mine." And she's like, "No, I'm his," and points up to God, and he's just like, smirk.
just smirking your way through it, Prince. And this felt a lot like Purple Rain, where Prince just, in an effort to be mysterious, he just doesn't say anything, and it just comes off as weird, and it's strange. I mean, it's. I don't think Prince is self-aware enough to realize how weird and campy this movie is coming off.
See, I think he kind of does, but I don't think he gets what's actually coming across. Because I think he's like, well, I kind of want to do another Purple Rain. I'm not going to make it as dark or edgy as that first one because I'm with Jesus now. But I'll kind of I'll make it a little slapsticky. I'll make it fun. I'll make it funny. And then I'll put some good tunes in it. And I'll make it about Jesus. But I think he doesn't actually get how that's coming off to anyone else.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, Purple Rain is slapsticky. Like Morris Day, essentially, it's the same thing in this movie where anything involving Morris Day is a little bit slapsticky. And then anything involving Prince is overtly dramatic. Like, this movie shares so much similarity with Purple Rain. It's just not pulled off in any way like Purple Rain was, because that was a real movie with people who understood movies making it.
Yeah.
This is just Prince living in Prince land.
Yeah. Okay, so after we jump, can we jump to the money fight?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because
I don't remember where we are.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is one of my favorite scenes, though. It's another thing between Morris Day and Jerome. And basically, Morris Day's pissed off because the kid's doing stuff. I don't know. But basically, Morris Day is kind of yelling at Jerome, and Jerome's like, "Hey, you need to stop fucking yelling at me, dude." And they kind of have a confrontation, and they stand face to face, and then they solve it by having a money fight. Which means they pull out their wads of money, and then they start, like, fucking making it rain on the table to see who has more. And they kind of come to a tie, and they're like, "Alright, respect." And then Morris Day fucking picks up his shoe, opens up the heel, and apparently had a little bit of extra money, so he wins.
He won the money fight,
and it was also, I think, Dueling Banjos was playing during the money fight.
Yeah, no, it is. It's the crazy. It's like, how much money do you have on your person right now? Is the game they're playing? I don't get it.
I really want to see a movie of just Morris Day and Jerome and their characters, because I just want to see how they solve their problems. Because if someone challenges him, oh, we have a hot pepper eating contest. Oh, you want to challenge me again? Guess what? Money fight.
Money fight. Like, wonderful. Just Morris Day is wonderful in this. He is the saving grace. Because then we go to the weirdest love montage ever, which
And,
is
like,
essentially
are they doing it? Because it looks like they're doing it sometimes, but
no,
they're not.
They're
But
just
it's
they're
I guess it's
hugging
just
a lot.
It's dry humping because that's love.
That's like all this movie really shows a Prince and Aura doing is them hugging all the time and acting like they're fucking children. Like this weird.
They have this cute like falling in love montage, but it's so ridiculous. And this is the part where I really felt like, oh my god, Prince has no idea what the real world is like.
No,
He just thinks he is adorable.
yeah. There's this scene where he's pretending he's gonna eat an apple, then no. Then he pretends he's gonna feed Aura, nope. Then he takes a bite of the apple.
No, he actually doesn't. No one ever takes
Oh.
a bite of the apple. She ends up taking the apple from him and almost going to eat it, but no one ever takes a bite. And I kind of think that's maybe an Adam and Eve kind of thing, where they're like, oh, I'm not going to eat the apple. Are you going to eat the apple? And then neither of them eats the apple because they're so fucking good.
Well, there's also that scene right after it because it's pretty much plays out almost again where where Prince steals her diary. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna read your diary." No, I'm just gonna give it back to you. I'm playing.
No, he doesn't even give it back.
He
He throws it on the ground and then they hug.
fuck your shit.
But yeah, they're being cute and like he's courting her. And this is another scene where it takes place during the day because they're kind of walking around outside briefly.
Yeah, it's
It's so good. Oh my god, it's so good.
It's so alien to anything that should be understandable by a human. But there it is. That's how Prince understands things. I don't even know what he's trying to accomplish. I don't get it. And so then he challenges Morris Day to a battle, which I don't think anyone understands how battles actually happen in this world. They just kind of
don't,
do.
and I don't
They
understand how they're judged either.
No, because they just kind of. It's just kind of it's kind of this osmosis kind of opinion where you understand that something has been won or lost.
Well, yeah, it's basically the way it works is like Morris Day and his band play a song, everyone's into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Prince brings everyone outside. He plays a song, everyone seems to be into it as well. But then at the end of that, Morris Day kind of laughs it off, and I guess that means he won because he doesn't respect the song Prince did? But everyone seemed just as into Prince's song, maybe even more so than they did to Morris Day's, but then he's just like defeated afterwards.
Yeah, no, it's great because after Prince's song ends, it's like watching two music videos back to back. One with Morris Day with a fire, and then one of Prince being sexual in the street, and then
with
Morris Day and his
fireworks
band
going off and him, thrusting his pelvis everywhere.
Yeah, and then Morris Day is like, whoever battles me better bring an army. He walks back inside, and then Prince's band's like, damn, I told you we should have played a different song. Like, what?
I was like, what? Does that mean? So Morris Day had to tell you won? He had to concede in battle?
No, 'cause Morris Day just told Prince that he lost, and it's just understood, like, oh, I guess we did lose.
I would assume the crowd would be the judge, not the guy that you're battling against, because of course he's not going to choose you.
Yeah, it's really, really strange. And then Prince walks away dragging his guitar like a disappointed child who just lost a game.
Which is hilarious. And I think the whole point of this, because I didn't really even understand it, but during his whole song, Aura just kind of looks very disappointed and sad. And I guess the thing is that Prince stooped to Morris Day's level by doing a song about sex instead of about Jesus. And that's what caused him to lose, is that he didn't stay true to himself. He just tried to battle Morris Day with a song about fucking, and that was disappointing to her and ultimately disappointed him.
You're on a deeper level than I am with this movie. You get it.
I am scared for myself.
And I love that this movie takes the same opinion that I have of this movie, that Prince's music is not very good in this, and that everyone else's is better. This
which
movie
is weird because he won't let it go that far. He seems like, oh, people aren't into my spiritual shit, which is true all across the board.
Yes.
But he seems like every time he plays a song that ultimately people are like brushing off, while he's playing the song, everyone is dancing like it is the best fucking thing they've ever heard.
Yeah. It's so fucking weird. And then we get this other scene, once again with Melody Cool, after Prince throws his guitar through a window because he's upset he lost and runs away, and Melody Cool's like, kid, don't baby, come back. And,
and he's like, eh. Did you notice that the song Prince plays, it had that weird keyboard part? It kind of reminded me of the song at the end of Revenge of the Nerds, like during their performance. Did you get that at all?
Huh. I didn't know.
It was just the keyboard part. I don't know. There was something about it that just reminded me of Revenge of the Nerds, which was hilarious to me.
Huh. I do have to say I started spacing out, and I just ended up on Amazon for a while before I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching this movie. This movie just at some point started to bore me so horribly. And it was during that Morse Day versus Prince scene specifically. And I had to go back and watch it.
Yeah. I have to admit, though, I agree with the movie. I mean, Morse Day totally won that battle.
Oh, yeah. Morse Day wins every battle.
I mean, you got to shake something. That's true. That's the gospel.
That's what we're saying, kid. And so then Prince goes back and meets up with Aura, and she's like, want to see where I write? And Prince is like, yeah, sure. And he inexplicably starts walking off as if he knows where she's gonna take him, and she's like, no, this way. And I mean, we'll get to her hobo hovel, but this, like, what is happening? Why would she's like, want to see where I write? And Prince is like, fine, and starts walking as if he knows where she's gonna take him, but she doesn't live anywhere that we know of. And where do you think he was going before she stopped him? Why do you think he would do that?
Something I did notice about this scene, though, is that when she approaches him, she gives him like a framed picture, and it's apparently one of her poems called Graffiti Bridge. Haha. But it does that, and then he like hands it back to her, and they get up, and she's going to show him where she writes her poetry. But then it kind of shows a shot of the framed picture, and it looks like just a stock framed picture that has a picture of like a little child on it. Like the poem went away.
I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. But yeah, then she takes
awesome.
him to her little hobo hole.
Yeah, she just pretty much has like a blanket set up under this bridge. Like, she's like, this is where I write.
Which part of me wanted to be like, is she like just a dirty homeless guy that like God made look like a sexy woman to help save Morse Day and Prince? Because that would have been a good twist. Because then Morse Day and Prince could have just looked at each other and then just started vomiting everywhere because they had sex with a homeless man.
That's the ending this movie deserved.
I smell a remake.
Woo! No, but then we get to one of my favorite parts, because I don't know what Morse Day is doing, but he's essentially in like this DOS type program where he's writing a letter to I don't know who.
To everyone. Is just from Morse Day to whom it may concern, I think.
Yeah, it's like all profits from these clubs are now going to me, and he
dollar.
And I'm just like, is he writing an email? Is Morse Day like connected to ARPANET? Like, this is 1990. The internet really isn't too big of a thing at this point.
I kind of think he was just writing it for himself so he could look at it and feel good.
That makes more sense than anything else that could be explained by why he has this thing written on a laptop.
But immediately after this, we get the weirdest and most uncomfortable scene in this movie, to where even after everything that has happened, I was looking at the screen like, I don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
But the Morris Day's girl comes into the room, or is in the room already, and she basically has a little musical number where she's like, hey, what, you still fucking around with that half and half, bitch? Her line, not mine. But yeah, then she basically sings a song while stripped down into her underwear, while Morris Day makes like a strobe light come on.
Yeah,
and in a movie Prince is trying to make about God and being spiritual and stuff, like she basically just does a strip tease and swings her ass all over the place while Morris Day like has his sunglasses on with a strobe light about to get some.
And yeah, and she raps about how she's the best.
Yeah,
that's what early 90s rap was about.
Yeah.
Yes. It's about whoever is singing it is number one.
Yeah, mainstream rap hadn't found his way yet.
Yeah. And then we are finally introduced to Melody Cool. Like, oh, she's a club owner. That's what's happening here.
I thought she was just that little boy's mother.
Yeah, that's all they led us to believe up to this point. But no, she is also a club owner. And then she sings a song, and immediately afterwards, George Clinton is signing over his club. And Prince is like, George, no. And you could tell George Clinton's not even the same place as Prince.
It's like, you talking to me?
Like, I mean, it's just obviously filmed on a different day, and George goes like, yeah. And then I was kind of spacing out, so I don't really understand, but Aurora gets run over by a goddamn car for some reason.
And also, I noticed there's a lot of feather imagery in this. Do you think that's where Forrest Gump got it from? Do you think Robert Zemeckis saw Graffiti Bridge and he was like, I can build on that?
He saw Graffiti Bridge and like, there is a lot to say in this movie about an autistic man trying to get through life.
Exactly. Forrest Gump is based on Graffiti Bridge.
I think so. And I love that after Aura gets run over and she's in the street, there's just a scream like, somebody get an ambulance. And then it's just like, there's one on 5th Street. Like, they're just... It's as if ambulances just sit around waiting for people to run up to them. Like
they're basically glorified cabs.
Yeah, well, then the Ecto-1 shows up to pick her up. It's wonderful.
But so here's the thing. Okay, so she got hit by a car. Is that what God wanted from her? Because she's all before that, she's like, I'll do whatever you want me to do, whatever you need from me. So her purpose was to get hit by a car and die to inspire the kid to win a battle with Morris Day. That seems kind of lame. Like, that's all she was. She was just like, oh, you have to die so Prince can perform a moving ballad and get the club.
But you know what's even weirder about that is that the last scene, Prince is the Christ figure.
Oh yeah, I know. It was hard for me to tell though, because that imagery was really subtle. I mean, Prince really, like, he skirted across. He didn't want to go too deep into it. But I picked up on it. I was paying attention.
You know, you really had to read into the details, but
also right after she does die, there's basically a When Doves Cry montage, just with a song that sure ain't no When Doves Cry.
Oh, yeah. And it's preceded by Morris Day asking Prince, I have one question for you. How do you want to die? And then he walks away. I'm like, what is happening? What is being decided here?
I don't know. And also, everyone seems really broken up about this stranger everyone met 2 days ago that most people didn't even meet. But apparently her death just made everyone stop fighting.
And it's not like she died because of the club fights. She just died because someone was kind of a shitty driver, it seemed like.
Yeah, someone tried to run away, with George Clinton's, deed to his club. Like, his partner tried to run away and drive, and ended up hitting her. Which, by the way, he didn't get, chastised at all. Like, they helped him out of the car, and he's like, I didn't see her. She came out of nowhere. And they're like, oh, it's okay. We don't care.
What the fuck is happening? Why is he driving like a goddamn maniac?
But then we get another insert of some of the darkest imagery in this movie, which is like, this girl died. Prince wants to shoot himself in the head. He is carrying a gun around and constantly almost shooting himself.
Cause his father did that, and he doesn't want to be like his father, so he keeps a gun around, so he might shoot him. I don't know.
But
so anyway, Prince plays this somber song about God and death or something. I don't know.
Jesus ballad wins every time.
Jesus ballad. And Morris Day comes into the club. Everyone kind of parts like the Red Sea,
and it gets so quiet. And I'm like, oh yeah, what? No slow clap? That's what I expected. I expected Morris Day to start a slow clap, and that would have been amazing.
Oh, it would have been great. But no, instead he just shakes Prince's hand, and someone screams like, "The kid won!" I was like, what? How did he win? What did he win?
Yeah, it's like the kid won with a ballad. I was like, wait, were they still doing the battle? I thought he just moved Morris with his song, and he's just like, oh, okay, we can stop fighting now because this girl died. Like, is he retroactively winning the battle that he already lost with that ballad?
Yeah. So, and that's the end of the movie. And so...
Not quite.
And then, well, not quite. We get the post-credit sequence where Rap Guy finally gets a chance to rap.
You know what? Totally not worth the wait.
No.
Not very good at all.
Not a very good rap. But this is where I want to talk about character arc. So, first we'll take Prince. His character arc is he starts off as a spiritual singer trying to save his club. He dips into doing sexual music and then comes back to doing spiritual music. That's kind of his character arc. The girl's character arc is she wants to do whatever it takes to save people, and
but it acts like she was sent there for that exact purpose. Like, that's why she keeps appearing and disappearing. Like, God sent her as an angel to do this.
But she didn't change Morris, and she didn't change Prince, who was already spiritual. The battle where he strayed is kind of what changed Prince, it seems more like, than anything she really did. So her character arc was almost pointless. And then you have Morris, who doesn't even agree to anything. We can only assume he agrees to finally give the club to Prince, even though they were co-owners, so I don't know why they can't just keep doing that.
Which they probably do. I think it's just like her death made them stop fighting, made him be like, whatever, we both kind of we both really wanted to fuck this girl. Now neither one of us can fuck this girl. Let's be friends again.
Yeah, and that's the most character you get from those people. But then we get to Rap Guy.
He has the biggest arc in this movie.
He does, because he gets to rap. He gets to complete his character arc. That is the...
But he doesn't even get to rap with the band or anything like that, or on stage. It's just he's outside in the street, and then finally the music is playing and the credits come up, and he's like, you know what? Fuck you, Prince. I'm gonna rap.
I'm just gonna rap. Like, that is... He literally could have been doing this any time during the movie. He did not have to wait to rap.
Oh, we didn't mention this one scene, but when Prince first loses the battle and Morris Day's going to take over his club, like he comes into the club on his motorcycle, and then it's just the Rap Guy, and he's like packing up his sheets of music or something. He's like, man, I never even got a chance to rap. And Prince is just like blank face, like he doesn't even register in his world.
No, because nothing is registering in Prince's world. It's so... Like, this movie feels... You know how Purple Rain was kind of... Prince used it slightly, or whoever was making, I don't know whose decision it was, slightly as a vehicle for Sheila E. But Prince was the vehicle for Sheila E.
Yeah.
In the beginning. And he kind of created her, which he's trying to do with this other girl now. I can't remember her name. And... It's like this movie is trying to be a vehicle for like 4 different artists, besides Morris Day, who's, I guess, just for the ride along. But then it has like the gospel kid.
From what I read about it, originally this movie was supposed to focus on Morris Day.
Yeah.
Like, it was supposed to focus on them, but then it kind of became about Prince.
I mean... And the strange thing is, this movie is so much easier to make than they're making it up as. Because why have 4 clubs? Why not just have battling clubs?
Yeah, why not just have 2 clubs? That's all you need. Because the other clubs don't even come into play at all, except for extra musical numbers.
Which they could have easily done in Prince's club, and George Clinton could have been a part of Morris's club.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have been that fucking easy. But no, this movie... I mean, it's written and directed by Prince, so I understand what happened. It's just, this is what happens when you let Prince make a movie.
Yeah.
And it's baffling. And it's worth watching one time, I guess. I'll give it that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's worth the watch, but be prepared to fast forward, especially if you're not enjoying the music. Just get past it, because it doesn't get any better.
That's the thing, is that after I finished watching this, I was like... I was doubting my like of Purple Rain. I was like, is Purple Rain even really that good? And then thinking about it, I was like, well, compared to this, yes. Yes, it is. It's a fucking masterpiece.
Compared to this, yes, it's a masterpiece. But no, it's not a great movie. It's very campy. But like, I stand by my original comparison that it works because it's a regular movie with this really weird person in it. This movie is just... all weirdness that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's pretty much this weird alien trying to make everyone else an alien.
Yeah, and people trying to save that to some degree, but you can only do so much, especially when you're editing it in a totally nonsensical way that doesn't reflect, like, that we have Melody Cool, and you don't know who she is, what she's doing, until the very end of the movie. You're like, oh, now this kind of makes sense. She actually owns a club. But I would have had no idea about that from the beginning of this movie.
And not only that, but I think one of the biggest failures of this film is that Prince tries to be deep with this and tries to be spiritual with this.
Oh, yeah.
But his idea of that is just repeating lines over and over again, repeating scenes over and over again. Like, how many times did someone say, it's just around the corner? And how many times did he say that opening line of, like, are there really angels, or are they just in our head? They come out in the wash in time. I was like, that sounds like fucking Roy Batty from Blade Runner saying something. Which actually, dove imagery. Oh my god.
Oh, shit.
Oh! That was Graffiti Bridge. We're not really sure what our next film will be, so I'll just take this opportunity to plug our Facebook page, our Twitter, our YouTube, and our dicks, because they're all worth sharing. We'll see you here next time at Celluloid.